Hey guys, welcome back to Intentional Homeschooling, and today I have a video collab for you. I am collaborating with Abby from Bear Hill Family and Erin from the Eclectic Homeschooler, and we are going to be sharing our 5 favorite books, kind of in a broad way. I think everyone's going to take it slightly in a different direction. I have decided to go with my 5 favorite nonfiction books that kind of like have helped me in my parenting and therefore in my homeschooling. Plus I have like a bit of a bonus book because it's a fiction book that goes hand in hand with one of my nonfiction books. So if you are not already, please go and subscribe to Abby and to Erin. Abby has graciously offered to do a giveaway. Okay, now I got distracted because Christmas packages arrived at the door because 'tis the season. So Abby is going to be doing a giveaway, and all you need to do to enter is subscribe to all 3 of our channels, comment on each of our videos, and then head over to Abby's video and let her know which book it is that you would like to win. So congratulations in advance to the winner. I hope you enjoy your book. I can't wait to see the final list of what everyone else shares. Okay, let's just dive in here. My first book is You and Me Forever by Francis and Lisa Chan. Now, this is technically, the subtitle says Marriage in Light of Eternity, but honestly, this book is just how to live life in light of eternity. And I feel like that translates into how I parent in light of eternity and how I homeschool in light of eternity. Francis Chan has a really good video where he shows this really long rope and then like tiny little portion of it is red, and that's your life here on earth, and then like the rest of the rope is our life in eternity. And so often we're just like focused on that little red section and we forget about the rest. And this book was such an encouragement and a reminder of how we should be living our lives now. One of my favorite things about this was just how it talks about how we should be serving, but also how we should be doing that as a family. And I think that is something that we have really implemented in our family in the last few years. Is it's not just like, oh, mom is going out to do this serving activity or dad is, it's a family thing. This book is very encouraging but also very challenging at the same time. Highly recommended. Then this one is technically a parenting book, and it is so good. It is Give Them Grace by Elise Fitzpatrick and Jessica Thompson. That is a mother-daughter duo, and honestly, I would maybe not recommend reading this book if you have like little kids. I first read it when my youngest was about 2, and I felt overwhelmed. And maybe you wouldn't feel as overwhelmed as I would. But there's like this scene in here where there's kids like wrestling, and the mom like takes them apart and then talks about you know, giving each other grace, and like she goes into this like very great but like overwhelming to me gospel message. Maybe I just have needed to grow as a Christian, but also maybe grow as a parent, because at the time my brain didn't go there right away. But now that my kids are older, I feel like I have gleaned so much information from this. It talks about how we may try to make our kids good by simply an extension of Old Testament law, a set of standards that is not only unable to save our children, but also powerless to change them. No, rules are not the answer. What they need is grace. And I mean, what we all need is grace. And I feel like this book, it does a really good job of explaining that. And maybe I just needed to grow. Maybe other people that have younger kids would be able to take this in better than I could a few years ago. But this is one of my favorite parenting books. Okay, the next 2 books have a bit of a theme because they are by the same author. But this one is Seasons of a Mother's Heart by Sally Clarkson. This one I read every year, sometimes more than once a year. It is broken down into seasons, and my one hang up is that it starts in spring. And because the focus is so much on homeschooling, I wish it would start in the fall, because that makes more sense for my brain. Like, I would like to read it every school year. But she breaks it down. Spring is seasons of renewal, summer is seasons of response, fall is seasons of resolve, and winter is seasons of reflection. And I have highlighted this thing like crazy. Just every page is just highlighted in different colors, and like I read it different times, and I don't even know if you can see all that yellow there. Those are just some pages. Oh yeah, like look at this page. This will be easier to see because it's not yellow. Yeah, that's like pretty much all highlighted. The biggest takeaways I got from this one is how to be a more gentle parent and person. I feel like this book really helped my parenting, and therefore it also translated into my homeschool. And she talks a lot about here in here about homeschooling, and I feel like it's really shaped our homeschool in the last few years. So this is an older one. I think this one was published in '93. It's not one I often see for sale. Even when I bought mine, I bought a used copy. But if you can find a copy of this, I would really recommend it. Obviously, it's in one of my top 5 favorite books. And then continuing on with Sally Clarkson, this is her second newest book, because that lady writes like 12 books a year pretty much, it seems like. This is A Waking Wonder, Opening Your Child's Heart to the Beauty of Learning. I started reading this one, I think in the spring, and let's see if they can pick up all the doggy ears. So I like to highlight my books, and I do, but if it's like if it is something even beyond highlighting, I'll highlight it and then doggy ear it. But the problem here is I pretty much doggy eared every single page. So yeah, how do you pick out like what are the good things? Like this page I've got something there, something there, something there, and then like this whole section. Yeah, okay, so this one is definitely more on the homeschooling and how to make your homeschool full of wonder. And I feel like that is what our homeschool has been needing, was needing in the spring. And I felt so inspired. And then there is also a companion book thing. Obviously, that's not what it's called. And I can't remember if I got it. I think I might have. I'm gonna go check. See if I can actually find it. It involved running up the stairs, but I found it. This is the A Waking Wonder Experience. So this is a guided companion that she wrote with her husband. And so I read this in the spring, and I fully intend probably like January picking it up again and then working through this. It's quite a bit like a workbook, but at the same time, there's also extra information and readings. Reading this book made me so inspired to like make changes in our homeschool and make learning such a fun, rich experience. And really, if there is something that I want my kids to get out of the educational part of our homeschool, it is that learning is fun and the world is full of wonder. Like God has created such an interesting earth for us to explore. And I feel like this book really helps explain how to do it without it being like a prescribed formula you have to follow. Okay, and then the last book / book with a bonus is the Charlotte Mason Companion Personal Reflections on the Gentle Art of Learning by Karen Andriola. This actually, I kind of got a lot of the same things out of this book as I did from this book. It's just I read this one earlier in my homeschooling career. As someone who is not a Charlotte Mason homeschooler, but has always felt drawn to certain aspects of the Charlotte Mason homeschool method, I have found this book really good. It kind of just involves more of that family time and learning together and kind of like awaking the wonder, like Sally talks about. And it's a little bit more specific in the ways to go about it. So for that reason, it was probably like a really good one for me to read earlier in my homeschooling. And because of the Charlotte Mason method, we do things like, well, I don't know if Charlotte Mason, she didn't create Poetry Tea Time. Did Karen Andriola? Or was that Julie Bogart? I don't know. That's a very Charlotte Mason thing though. And nature study is something we do because of this. / we do nature study because of Pocket Full of Pine Cones. So this is a fiction story that Karen Andriola wrote about a mother living in, where did they live? Did they live in England or somewhere in the US? Just like how she learned with her kids to go out in nature and explore and learn about different things. This made nature study seem so attainable to me, even if it's not, if you're not creating a piece of art afterwards, just going and observing. So this is my like nonfiction recommendation, and this is a bonus that goes really well with it. So those are my 5 top nonfiction books that have really changed or influenced the way I homeschool, parent, etc. I mean, obviously outside of the Bible, that would be number 1, but it would also be like pretty much on every book list. So outside of the Bible, those are my 5 favorite books. So leave a comment below. Tell me what are some of your favorite homeschool / parenting books that have really influenced your time learning with your kids. And then make sure you subscribe to my channel, Abby's channel, Erin's channel. Leave comments, and then make sure that you're entered to win the giveaway over on Abby's channel. Thanks for watching, guys.